So we're very excited to hear that Worst House on the Street is back on our screens on July. So what
Yes.
can we expect from series two?
So it should be out July 12th as it stands, but dates might change. But we've got so much for everybody, myself and my brother. We've kind of taken series one and we've just multiplied it with tips and tricks and hacks and ways people can save money along the way, basically with their renovations. And there are some amazing renovations. The good thing about this particular series is that we're also filming series three alongside it. So as soon as
Ah,
that's in the bag, it means it might not be too long before series three comes out. They could potentially hold it and put it out next year, or they could put it out later on this year. So yes, there's a lot coming, a lot in the pipeline, which is very exciting.
that's exciting. And is there any kind of renovation that stood out to you from series two? What's been your kind of favorite?
Oh, there is one particular one. I won't give away too much, but
Yeah.
in Bristol,
Oh,
as
that's what we are.
yeah, a lovely lady called Natalie and her daughter Frida. And I will just say it's a very colourful episode for many reasons, and I love colour. So yeah, that's going to be a really exciting one. I think it's actually the first episode of series two that will be out.
Oh, great. I'll have to look out for that one, especially when I love when it's in the city that you're in, like spotting places. Great.
Yeah, yeah.
And where does your passion for property come from? Where
Do
did
you
it
know
all
what?
start?
It actually started with my brother Stuart that I do the show with. He was the one that got me into property development in the first place. And I guess we kind of knew how to work well together. So
Mm.
he's very good at working with the architect or working with the builders and kind of redesigning a space and knowing how to make the most out of what it is that you have in your floor plan. Whereas I think for me, I came from musical theatre, I love fashion. So that helped me with the interior design side of things. So I absolutely love anything interiors. I love how you can layer a room, how you can add texture to places and it give you a complete different feel and emotion. So between the two of us, we actually worked really well together. So I guess I found what my thing was and my strength was, and that's the interior side of things. And then Stuart keeps his strengths of working on layouts and ways of making a house a home, basically.
Yeah, so you kind of bring in both your strengths together.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
would you say your interior style is? How would you describe it?
I mean, this is kind of my interior design style. I love a lot of pinks. I love golds. I love glitter. I love disco balls. I know that not everybody likes those things.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure if I'm doing, a design for somebody else, I really listen to the client and what it is that they want. But I guess for me, I don't like minimalist to a certain degree because I think it can
Mhm.
be quite boring. So I think it's important that you do add pops of color, you do add your own personality into a property, especially if people are potentially looking to rent somewhere out. They have to think about what would make it cozy for them. Why would they want to live in this house? How can you make it feel like a home? Even though you might be renting it, how can you make it feel like it's yours? Just little personal touches. And then when it comes to potentially flipping properties, how can you add in all the character, all the harmony of a place, but still make sure that if you need to take it out and take it with you, you can, but the base still has a little bit of something, a little bit of zhuzh or vavavoom to it.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of adding those personal touches, but
Yeah,
future-proofing it as well.
exactly,
Great.
exactly.
And what are your top tips for people embarking on their first renovation project?
I always say start small. You have to walk before you can run. And in this case, I'd say you have to crawl before you can run. So start small. It's important because property it looks great. People think it's quite easy, but it does have its traps and it does have its highs and lows. And people have to remember that. And it's not easy. It's really not easy. There are so many things that you probably wouldn't think about when you're doing a redevelopment, whether that's does the whole house need to be rewired? Is the plumbing okay? What are the size of the pipes? How old is the property? Are you going to need to get bigger gas pipes or bigger water pipes? Where do you actually want your sockets, your light switches, your plug sockets? These are things that people might forget, and the builder will come in and say, right, where do you want your light? And you
Mm,
have no idea because maybe your door opens one way, but the light socket's the other way because that's how the house was. But you might then want to change the door because the layout of the bedroom isn't going to work. And then that means you might need to change where the light switch goes. You'll have to then feed through the electric. So there are so many things that people don't really think about. So the
there's a
smaller you
lot.
start, the easier it is when you start to go to bigger projects. Oh, that would
Yeah.
be number one. You asked for five, didn't you? So I'd
No, I
say
just said top tips, so whatever.
that is my number one top tip. Start small. And I would also say affordability. What can you afford?
Yes.
Not what you think you can afford on paper, but what can you afford if things go wrong? Have you set yourself a contingency budget? Because we always say try and keep 10 to 15% of the overall budget aside, because things unfortunately do go wrong in property. And you don't want to be in a position where you can't afford to rectify certain situations because you've not left yourself enough money for that.
Yeah, yeah, very wise. Just so much to think about. And you
Yeah.
kind of touched on it there, but can you share some tips for people who want to make rentals more homely on a budget?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, give your tenants the actual opportunity to make your house their home. And I would say for someone that's renting, you know, there are small things you can do. You can put pictures up on the wall. If you're worried about nailing them in, you can get really good stickers now that basically go on the frame that then stick on the wall. And when you take that off, that's it. It's off.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, you can get really good cushions that have a nice vibrant color to it that you love, that makes it feel like your personality. New curtains, even a lick of paint or wallpaper. You know, it might be that you speak to your landlord and they're happy for you to do it. It might be that they're not happy, but you can do it if they give you their permission to do it in the meantime, but just know that you might have to then change it back when you were to move out. But there aren't many tenants I know that have done up a place and they have made it awful. And there aren't
Mm,
many landlords that have had their tenant do up somewhere and come back and say, no, change it back to how it was. Because actually, it could be that you are adding value to the property
yes.
by putting in some sort of flair and color and style. So these are things that you can absolutely do. And as my brother always says, if you think of your property and if you turn it upside down, whatever falls is what you can basically change and make your own. So that's furnishing, soft furnishings, anything that you can just take off, put in a box and take with you. And these are things that
Yeah.
wherever you then go to rent, you've not lost money because you still have them with you.
Yeah, you can take them wherever. It's
Yeah.
great. And what advice would you give to someone who wants to get on the property ladder but doesn't really know where to start? So hard nowadays.
Oh, it is really hard. And I would say the best thing to do is do as much research as possible. Now, there's obviously so far you can go with research until you actually start putting that into practice. But there are some great places now and great outlets where you can learn a lot. So whether that is social media, you know, follow people on property, follow people on social media that are doing property, that's their thing. Follow certain blogs or podcasts that can give you information. Myself and Stuart, my brother, we've got a podcast called Property Unlocked, and we basically
Yes.
speak to people that are on their property journey. We speak to people that are property experts. We speak to builders, interior designers. So you really get an overall view of property itself, but you're learning because it might be that you want to try property development and flipping properties, but that's not the angle for you. It might be that your strength is interior design and you just want to go in, do the finishing touches and go out. Or it
Yeah.
might be that actually you feel that flipping isn't for you, so you want to do buy to lets, or you want to do HMOs, or you want to do BRRRs. There are so many different ways of making money in property that it's best you really get an overview of what opportunities are out there, what options are out there, and which one will work for you.
Yeah, great. And then just on the other side of that, if you want people are wanting to sell their home,
Mm.
they want to move on. A lot of our readers are first time buyers or whatever, but obviously they might move on. What would be your tips for when you want to sell your home?
Again, my top tip is declutter. Declutter, declutter,
Yeah.
declutter. The worst thing is someone coming into a property and it's just full of mess. It's chaotic. It just looks like a bomb's gone off. Get
Yeah.
some storage boxes, stick stuff in there, put them in the garage if you have to. Ask your neighbour if you wouldn't mind just leaving it in there while you've got a few viewings. Just try and make it look as spacious as possible. And also, does your property need a lick of paint? Because you can get some cheap paints from places. You can go to places where you can get paint for free, where there's maybe been leftover tubs of paint that still has like half a tin in it. And you can do these things inexpensively. So really think about that. Clean. Make sure that when someone walks in, if you've got animals, if you've got pets, You've tried to get the smell out as much as possible, get some nice plug-in sprays that when people walk in, they get a really nice feeling.
Yeah.
So curb appeal is important. Now, I'm not expecting people to go and put a whole new, maybe a drive in or put pebbles in or a whole new lawn, but just clean it up, get a pressure washer, clean off your paving if you need to, maybe get a little hanging basket, get a few potted plants around. Just make your house look as welcoming as possible. So the minute someone gets there, before they've even gone inside, they get a good feeling for your place.
Yeah, I got first impressions really count with that, don't they?
Yeah, really, really do.
And what is tackling renovation projects? What has it taught you personally?
It's taught me patience more than anything. It's taught me how to work with my brother in a business sense. But also it's taught me how much you really can bring something to someone. I think I've been really lucky with what I do work-wise. And going from a place in the sun and helping people find their holiday homes and seeing how amazing it is for them at the end and how much we technically change their life to a certain degree. It's the same with then doing renovations, because you've got a house that might be quite sad, quite tired, hasn't had any TLC for ages, and then you give it a whole new lease of life. And then you see people come into that renovation and their face is lit up, and just kind of see how they think, I can spend my life here, I can create memories here. A house is probably one of the most expensive things an average person might buy or spend their money on in their lifetime. So it's important that it's a safe haven for them. It's somewhere that they feel comfortable, that they feel happy, where they do feel like they can make some fond memories with themselves or with their family, friends. So it's just nice to really make a house a home. As cheesy as it sounds, it's true. It's so true.
Yeah. God, it's such a life-changing thing if you have a home you love.
Yeah.
And where's home for you, Scarlett? And
So
how
I'm
have you
in
decorated it? We can see a bit in the back.
Yeah. I'm in Hertfordshire, which is just outside North London. I'm literally a 2-minute walk from my mum and dad's house, which is perfect because if I can't be bothered to cook, I go around there, which is pretty much most nights.
Ideal.
And if I'm away, my dad comes and picks up my post for me or parcel, so that's lovely. But yeah, my house, it's a 3-bedroom terrace house. I've got a front and a back garden. Did a complete renovation on it when I first bought it. I still have a few snags that I need to do on it, and I still need to buy a few bits and kind of make it perfect. But I guess that's the beauty about a home, is that you'll always see something you want to do and something you want to change. And I didn't think of maybe doing that there, or maybe buying this for that. So yeah, it's still got a few little touches that I've got to do on it, but I love it and I feel safe and comfortable here. And we're getting close to the summer now, so I'm going to have some nice barbecues in my back garden, and I can't wait.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
It's kind of one of those things, isn't it? You're saying always adding to it. You probably feel like you're never finished. You always see something else.
exactly that.
And you're talking about renovating it there. Which DIY job do you love the most, and which do you kind of leave till the last minute, put off?
The DIY job I love the most absolutely has to be the interior design side. So the finishing touches, basically.
Yeah.
Going to some really cool shops, finding little trinkets, little bits and bobs that you probably don't even need, but will look really nice, and giving it that kind of final overall wow factor, I guess. What do I not like? I'm not a good gardener at all.
Oh
I
no.
hate gardening. I hate it. Even now I've got some weeds in my back garden. I keep looking at them and I'm like, I'll get to you tomorrow. I'll get to you tomorrow. So gardening, I'm not the most green-fingered person. So that's probably the least favorite of mine. And then the most favorite would definitely be doing the finishing touches.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, I suppose with the garden there, you could just go for the wild look. Say the weeds are just
Yeah,
part of it.
exactly. There we
I
go.
think they're saying that now. It's like environmental to have the weeds.
There we go. There we go then. That's
It's a
exactly
good
it.
excuse. And you're saying about homewares. Where do you like to shop for for bargain homeware?
Oh, for bargains, I love TK Maxx. So obviously they've got Home Sense in there. I love Dunelm and I love The Range. Those are probably the three that I always go to if I'm looking for a bargain. I don't want to spend too much. But even really good places like Sainsbury's, Tesco, they have great, even Argos, they have really good things that you wouldn't expect them to have that aren't going to cost you a huge amount. And it can really give that expensive finish, but it's all about how you kind of pair it up and what you put it next to and where you put it and how you make it look. So I always say, if you want to bargain, check those places out.
Yeah, great. Yeah, they've got such a good range.
Mm.
And what's your favorite home in or room in your home and why?
Oh, that's a really tough question. I would say it's my beauty room when it's tidy because it's quite dark in there, but you go in and it's kind of like a mini walk-in wardrobe, and I've got my dressing table and I've got some pictures up as well. And I think when you walk in, for me, that's the moment where I've thought, or that's the moment when I do think when I go in there, when it's tidy, this is what I've always wanted. I remember when I was younger, I was like, I just want a beauty room, a little walk-in wardrobe room, somewhere for my shoes and my clothes and all my makeup and my jewelry. And I actually have it now. So
Oh,
it's
that's
for me,
lovely.
it's always about manifesting and creating your dream. And I now have that room in my house that I probably realistically didn't think I'd have for quite a while. And I
Yeah.
now have that. So as much as it's the smallest room in the house and it sometimes is the storage room, it just makes me really proud that I got to where I always said I'd get to. So that's probably why that's my favorite room.
That's lovely. Yeah, and it's like a space just for you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Lovely. And what would we find on your bedside table?
Oh, I have a really nice lamp. I love peacock, so I have a
Ah,
peacock lamp. Um, Always a phone charger. It's always there.
yeah.
And some sort of interior design magazine will be on the table without a doubt. And then if I get into bed and if I've got a couple of hours to spare and I can't sleep, I'll be looking through and seeing what the latest trends and designs are,
Lovely.
what color schemes are in at the moment, what textures are in, materials. Yeah, I love all of that stuff.
Lovely. And so what's next for you, Scarlett? Do you have any plans coming up?
Yes, so series two of Worst House on the Street, series three as well, which is still being filmed. We've also got myself and my brother, we've got a new show with Channel 4 that we start filming next month. So
Oh,
that's a really
exciting.
exciting one. I can't say too much, but what I can say is there's a bit of a competition element again between me and Stuart, which is great because when we first did Love It or List It, when we stepped in for Phil and Kirsty for Black to Front Day on Channel
Yeah.
4, everyone loved that sibling rivalry, which is
Yeah.
win. So we're really excited for this new show because, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to win.
Of
Um,
course,
but
yeah.
yeah, there is definitely going to be some excitement with that one. So it's another
And
property show. It's in
property, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of all about interiors and how you can help make your house as sellable as possible. And then yeah, there's that kind of competition element with it. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds good. Well, we'll look out for that and we'll, yeah, look forward to watching Worst House in the Street in July. Can't wait to see it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Lots of colour, lots of great profits made, and lots of amazing transformations.
Sounds great. It sounds like, yeah, our perfect kind of TV. Great. Thanks so much, Scarlett.
Thank you for having me.